Hello and welcome back to another video where civilization starts over. We're on episode 19 now, and in the last video we saw the start of the Great Asian War, and in this video we're going to continue that. But let's get into the video. So the first thing we'll be seeing in this video will be a massive Korean offensive against the Chinese forces up here, with liberating two major cities before closing in on a third. And this war, it's basically tied as Korea, they have been almost losing, and they have been winning many times in this war. But it's at this point where we see many countries that are in this war become tired and don't want to fight anymore. One of those nations are the Banana Union. They are basically fighting alone as they have not gotten any support at all. And it's impressive that they have lasted this long against a country that has much experience in war, that being Mongolia. They have fought the Russian Empire, and now they're holding their own against the strongest nation in the world. So it's surprising these guys have been able to hold their own for such long. But we'll be seeing them pushing back the Mongolians even more, as we see them pushing back to the border at this area, retaking two major cities. And it's at this point where Mongolia will start to send down more soldiers down here to fight these guys. And we'll be even seeing the Mongolians push back the Banana Union troops over here, pushing them far over here into the west before destroying them completely, and now starting and push into the Banana Union itself. So you can say it's not going to go well for these guys right now, as we see the Mongolians reinforcements arrive as they retake more areas and retake these two major cities. And yeah, it's not looking so good. But looking over here, we see this nation, they will be basically falling to Mongolian control, as it's not looking so good for them. But then we'll be seeing them enter into Korea. Now, the Mongolians have already been in Korea up here in this area, but the Koreans are holding their own up here. So the Mongolians said, why not try an offensive down in the south, which is successful, as we see them capture a major city, alongside the Chinese, who have managed to retake this major city and closing in on the second one, as they protected this city and even encircled a large amount of troops down here. Now in Japan here, we see the Japanese being successful in pushing the South Chinese back, retaking their capital city and even like capturing a lot of soldiers. Now it's clear that this war, it's probably going to end in a draw, as both sides do not want to fight anymore. But that won't matter, as we see now Korea, they will be actually asking their fellow friends over here, the grounding members of the UAE, for help. Now these guys, they're very close to Korea, so most of them will say yes, and those nations will be Romania. So we'll be seeing Romania send volunteers to over here into Korea, and that will cause the Japanese to lose their capital once more, and even lose even more ground, losing two more major cities. And it's not looking too good for them right now. Over here we'll be seeing the Koreans, they will be successfully pushing back the Chinese now with Romanian support. Now China has criticized the Europeans from getting involved in this war, as it's an Asian war, henceforth it's called the Great Asian War. But now that Europeans are involved, we see nations such as the Rome, they're saying like, then I can go and support China. But Romania says no, it's an Asian war, and it just doesn't make sense anymore. But other nations such as like Finland, they're in an alliance with Romania, but Finland is starting to drift out of that alliance, as they do not support the But we see countries as Finland start to drift away from Romania and criticizing Romania as as they're supporting a war that's on another continent. Now, this won't matter as we see South China, they will be starting to push up and threatening the capital of China here, as the support from Europe is greatly benefiting them very much. Uh, but yeah, we'll see how this war ends, but now we'll be looking away from it. Looking at the UAE, the United Assembly of Earth, we'll be seeing some new members join. One of those members joining will be Persia, as they have been wanting to join a while now. But we also see Caspia join it alongside Caspia's puppet state. We also see this Moscow nation join alongside this nation. So we'll see the complete filling of like the European nations, as many of them join the UAE now. And yeah, but then we'll be looking at an war, and that will be an kinda historical war, that being the Red Tunisians. They'll be going on a conquest and invading the Blue Iberians. Now, there used to be a clear power balance. The Iberians used to be far more powerful than the Red Tunisians, but now it's kinda shifted. The Red Tunisians are in their peak. They're one of the strongest nations. They're in the top 10 power rankings, and the Iberians are not even on there. So we'll be seeing the the Tunisians cross over and quickly capture the capital and the Iberian leader, and the Iberians surrender very quick. So this will be a peace treaty where we see Tunisia, they'll be taking all of these lands, and the Iberians, they will be moving their capital over here into this major city. And now you probably see this line, and that basically means that the Iberians are now in puppet state of the Tunisians. Now I could just done this to make it more like they are in puppet state of Iberia or Tunisia, but no, I want them to have their color to just show that they are still the Blue Iberians, just controlled by the Tunisians. Now this war, it will be the many nations of the UAE won't like it, as it's basically the Tunisians going imperialist. Now many nations here can't say that they're not imperialist, such as like Korea and the Romanians. They're also kind of imperialist, as they were one of the reasons why the Russians fell. They also caused the OG Swedish nation that used to be here to collapse. But we won't see any nations do anything too big against the Tunisians, as once more, the Tunisians are a very strong nation nowadays. So looking away from there, we'll be actually seeing the creation of something new in the series. We'll be seeing the creation of the world's first economical alliance, and it will be created up here in Russia, none other by this pink nation. And it will be the 6-point star economical alliance, or mostly known as the Russian economical alliance, I guess. And yes, economical alliance are not such big, but I just think that why not start to add them? It's just a thing. It's not a major thing, but it's something cool, I guess. And yeah, this alliance, it basically brings back the old currency the Russian Empire once had. And yeah, balance in this era is starting to be restored. But looking away from that once more, we'll be looking over at Germany. Now, after their loss in World War I, their nation has been pretty unstable. Their leadership, it's still an oligarchy, but this oligarchy has been starting to split into two sides. One side wants to take revenge and invade Poland to reclaim lost land. The other wants to stay neutral and even try to join the UAE if that's possible. But we basically see this causing a revolution, So we basically see these three parts break away and call themselves the New Germans, and we basically see the revolution begin as these new guys will be quickly to send in their followers into the original Germans, capturing one major city before meeting up with the Polish border. Now, to be clear, the OG Germans are those that wants to invade Poland and regain lost land. So we'll be actually seeing a surprising thing happen, that being Poland joining this war and invading into the old German nation. So we basically see them being screwed over even more now that one of the most powerful European nations have joined a revolution against them. Now that doesn't mean that these Germans won't fight, as they will actually be capturing this whole thing here and even starting a push into this one up here in the Netherlands. But we are seeing many nations say, you know what, free land. One of those nations are this nation over here. Now they are not liked that much as they expand, especially by these guys. But that don't matter, as we see them invade up, capturing one major city before stopping, as they pretty much got what they want. And we basically see that it doesn't look so good for the Germans, as we'll see that it's game over as they capitulate completely. So this will be the peace treaty. So we'll be seeing a Netherlands nation become independent. We'll see the Polish, they will take these two parts, and this Northern Italian nation will take all of this. And Germany is now very weirdly formed and very chunky, I guess you could say, as they have now become a minor European nation. Yeah, they're kind of irrelevant now in European talks. Not many nations care about them. But looking from Europe, we'll be looking into Africa at basically all of their claims. So we basically are talking about the South Chinese claims, the French claims, the English claims, and even this Spanish claim. So all of these parts are the only parts I believe that are under controlled by other nations that are not African. So we'll be basically seeing the independence of these nations. So this will be the complete independent African continent. And yeah, let's give in this new nation some capital cities. There we go. So as you can see, we see many new nations form. This Tanzanian nation, Central African nation. We see this nation, I guess. We see this I guess you could call it the Nigerian nation. I don't know. This is these nations are more Nigerian, but I guess you could call it a Nigerian nation. But yeah, the African continent is now fully independent, and no outside forces are there. And I forgot to give this nation an capital, so I guess we could say it's right here. Now the African continent is fully complete. Now we'll be looking at another thing, that being down here in Australia, where we basically see all of this. It just goes over to this Australian nation. I don't know what else to do with it, but we also see the New Zealand. They will be also going over to Australia. So basically an Australian nation over here. But yeah, looking over at the Americas, mostly South America, we'll be seeing these new nations finally expand. Now this nation, it's very hard for me to look at. The colors are very bright mixed to the white background, but we're seeing them expand like that. This nation will be expanding like this, a little more in, but they'll be stopping like that. And this nation, they'll be expanding a little bit up here like this. And yeah, that's the South American update, I guess. But looking away from there, we'll be looking back over here at the Great Asian War. And now it's time for it to end. So we'll be seeing the Mongolians still be pushing back the Koreans over here. Also doing a large offensive down here in the south, spearheading up into the nation. China will capture all of this and push up, retaking these areas and these major cities. The Japanese, they will be doing an offensive as well, pushing back the South Chinese and taking back their capital for the second time this war, and basically re-liberating the mainland. While down here we see Chinese forces come back and start to push back the South Chinese very much, basically retaking all of their major cities. As the Chinese now even enter into South China over here, taking 2 major cities alongside with them. But now we basically see every nation say that's it, no more fighting, and we see a peace treaty be drawn up in the capital of India. So let's take a look at the peace treaty of the Great Asian War. So this will be the Finnish peace treaty of the Great Asian War, so now let's look at it. So starting off with Mongolia, they will be getting all of these lands, growing very much in size, but they will also lose these 2 very important parts to Korea. Looking over here at China, they will be getting all of these lands. It's a very big part of land, and getting 2 major cities even, but they will also getting all of this from the South Chinese, and they basically established themselves as the true Chinese. The Japanese, they will only get one thing, that being this. And yeah, that is the finished Great Asian War. Now let's update the alliance layer. So this is the updated alliance layer in Asia at least. So yes, both of those alliances were just temporarily to fight this war. So yeah, that's it. Asia is a very now not a very united continent, I would say. But looking away from Asia, we'll be looking back at Europe here, where you basically see another big war, or big war. It's a war at least. So we'll be seeing Rome, they will be invading up into, or this is Naples. We'll be seeing Naples still invading up into this democratic Rome, and even also crossing into this nation over here and taking all of that. And yes, they will be annexing all of these lands. It's very much, and they basically are starting to grow back into European politics, you could say. As they're a great Mediterranean controller, they have a lot of experience in the Mediterranean Sea, as you probably know. And yeah, they even made a deal with the Tunisians that they get back this area, and the Tunisians keeps this island. But looking away from that, we'll be looking up at France. France, they will be invading into another nation. Now this nation will be none other than Germany. Now I believe that their border with Germany hasn't changed at all since Germany got independence. So it's sad that this border will change, but it has to be done, as France now sends in their troops into Germany, just destroying the Germans, and we see the Germans surrender right there, right now. So let's look at a peace treaty between France and Germany. So in this peace treaty, we see France still be taking all of these lands, now becoming very big once more, and yeah, they're basically a big European power now, and this nation doesn't have a capital city. Why don't you have that? it's pretty important to have a capital city if you ask me. Now we'll be looking away from this, or more at these two nations. They have been working, or they have been suggesting a thing, that being a Grand Eastern European Union. That basically would be this. These two, Estonia, Ukraine, this nation, and this Russian Moscow nation, basically forming Western or Eastern Europe. And it's basically to replace the Russian Empire, as this would basically make the economical situation in Europe stable once more, as one nation controls all of the important economical areas. As it was back when the Russian Empire existed. The Russian Empire basically controlled over the world's 60% economical stuff. So forming this nation would have its pros and cons, but it's not confirmed yet and probably won't be confirmed. But yeah, moving on from that, we'll be looking over here at Turkey here, or the Turkish areas. We see a meeting being held in the UAE, and it will be held in this right here, this or this capital of this new Turkish nation. And it's basically going to talk about the independence, fully independence of the Turkish lands, and it will actually be voted that true. The Turkish area shall now become fully independent. That will be looking something like this, where this nation will be formed and the OG Turkish nation will come back. And we basically see the full independence of the Turkish areas. Now let's look at the capital cities. Now the OG Turkish nation, they will of course have it right there. These guys only have one major city, so sad for them, but they will have it right there. And now Turkey is a lot more Turkish, if you ask me. And that will be all for this video, I think. Or yeah, that's going to be all for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like and subscribe, as it will mean a lot for me. As I'm recording this, I think I'm at 70 subscribers. And I just want to say thanks for all the support. I really appreciate it. It just feels like I just started this channel, or started to upload. So I just want to say it means very much for me that you guys have supported me this much. But that's all for this video. Goodbye.